Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Argo on Air. I'm 2 minutes early. I mean, I'm wearing Hiko's shirt tonight, but boy, I'll tell you what, that's my best Texas accent. I used to live in Texas, but that's probably from watching that show. What was it? Kind of a Simpsons spinoff? No, Mike Judge did it, I think. The guy from Office Space. God, somebody leave me a comment and tell me what that show was. Um, Hank Hill. King of the Hill. Thank you. Oh God, see the synapses. They're going. They're going. Takes a little while sometimes, though. I'm 45. Give me a break. Thank you for tuning in. It is Sunday, the 7th of June, and June has come. Hallelujah. No, I don't know. Well, yeah, I like June. June's a good month. Two of my family members have a birthday in June. My father, who's June 1st. Happy birthday, Dad. And my sister coming up, June 16th. So my sister's name is Linda. Hello, Linda. She's not watching this, though. She doesn't watch anything on any of my channels. None of my family members do. I think my brother maybe used to watch one or two, but my parents never watched. My sister doesn't watch. My niece doesn't watch. I could say all kinds of bad things, but they don't watch. Okay, let me go over. It says I have one viewer. Hello, one viewer. It always takes a second, obviously. Let me see if I can pull this up and see comments on the other YouTube page here. I like that I just have to type in my Argo on YouTube, and my Argonauts is an auto fill-in. So that's kind of fun. My channel is well known enough. It says Argo on Air number 6 live now. All right, let's click it and go. Look at that. My niece doesn't watch. I can say all kinds of. All right, we turn down the volume there. Say something. Okay, I'll be typing "Konbanwa, Starkey." This is Jason. So I'm typing as Taisha Jason in the comments. Taisha Jason is a second channel. There was a time on YouTube. I'll give you a little YouTube history. There was a time on YouTube back in like 08, 09. It became very vogue to have two channels because you wanted your main channel to be your primary content. But at the time, YouTube had this thing where you could click and you could do a video response to someone's video. Say, give me a break, man. Victor made a video saying, all people over 6 foot tall are morons. I could send him a video response and say all people under 6 foot tall are morons, or something like that. But so a lot of people made second channels so they could do these quick little unedited, off-the-cuff video responses and it not kind of clutter up their main channel, or just if they wanted to talk about things that weren't germane to their main channel. Like my main channel was basically about jet, working as a jet, and Japan, and living in Japan. But I really wanted to talk about movies that I love and things like that. A lot of people were doing like, here's my whole Blu-ray collection, type of thing. So I made a second channel, and I really didn't post much to it. But there are some response videos on there that are some of my best watched videos because I didn't make a video talking about that subject on my main channel, if that makes sense. Like one of the best watched videos on Taisha Jason is a video where I talk about being fat, being overweight in Japan, and it's got a lot of views. And then I had a third channel for a while, which I was trying to send out videos to my best viewers and kind of have it be like this secret club for people. And this was before they had unlisted and not tell anyone about it or anything. And it didn't work. People found out about it, and it didn't do what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to be like a reward for the people that were loyal and really watched a lot. And so that morphed into my all sumo channel. So I shut it down, kind of, but I kept the URL, Jason's in Japan. And then when I said, okay, well, I can't put all these sumo videos on my Argonauts, so I opened up that, and now it's doing so well. I get way more views on my sumo channel now than I do on my regular channel, but I still have more subscribers on my Argonauts. Of course, subscribers don't. who unsubscribes to? I never have unsubscribed to anyone, I don't think, unless it's just like really like, oh my God, they're a terrible person. I've got to go unsubscribe from them. But that's so rare. So I know, there's people that have subscribed to me, and now I'm trying to get the comments on the other side of my screen here, who have never, unsubscribed to me. So I wish I think I have 13,000 subscribers. I wish I had, I wish I had 13,000 views on every one of my videos as a base. Even 10,000 views would be lovely. But I'm lucky if I get 1,000 or 2,000 nowadays. But, that's fine. I don't really do it for the views or anything anymore. I certainly don't do it for the money. I don't even make $100 a month anymore. There was a time where I was making about $100, $150 a month on YouTube from ads when my channel was really pumping. But now if I make half that, I'm lucky. I just don't. The URLs that once got a lot of views, that sort of algorithm that promotes them or puts them up on Google pages or whatever. I think every 3 or 4 years it refreshes, or you fall off you fall out of the formula. So some of my videos don't get near the views they once did, and that's okay. All right, let's see who's here today. Say hello, and then we'll get right into the topics. Got lots to talk about. Got about 50 minutes to do it before we get out of the way for my man Hiko. Tokyo Tonight coming up next. Let's see what we got here. We got Kron, Starkey. Starkey with an exclamation point. I'll say that loud. I hope my neighbors didn't mind that. Ben Duncan. Ben is a good guy. He's often in the audience for these things. Krogsong. Krogsong, hello. I just have to say your name like you're some Conan warrior from a Schwarzenegger film. Or maybe you're Mongolian or something. I don't know. Fukushima Jack? Fukushima Jack? I was just watching episode 5 a moment ago. Upgrade! You get the live now. Hey! Let's have some fun. All right. You should set up the page before it's time to let people show up early like Hiko. I think the problem with doing that, Kron, is I want to do it as a hangout, and it's like go live now. And I tried to do it the other way before, and it's like you have to have some kind of intermediary gadget on your computer, app or something that lets you then tell it how you're going to stream and do everything. It's like I don't think I can set it up ahead of time and do it as a Google Hangout. You kind of have to click OK, I'm ready to go. But maybe I could. I could try. I know, there's the little button that's green because it's like go, and it says start broadcast, and so I could delay hitting that maybe and see if it sets up the room and the thing and the comments. But yeah, I agree. I should try to figure. I need to know more about how to do this. Hiko never shows me anything. He's a terrible senpai, but he's moving this week, so we got to give him some. We got to give him a break. He's got like 17 live shows now. Jesus Christ! He's got the Wednesday show. He's got Saturday. Last night he was on with Kat, and Victor. He's got tonight's show. He's doing a show for people that like shoes on Mondays. It's crazy. Monday is a public holiday in Australia. What day in Australia is it? Is it shrimp on the barbie day? That was a terrible Australian accent. I'm sorry. Mark's in the house. Hey, Mark, what's up? Hello, everyone. I'm going to learn how to say your name eventually. Englandese. Englandese? Okay. Queen Elizabeth? You probably don't salute the Queen, do you? You have to curtsy if you're a woman. Bow, maybe, if you're a man? Maybe you can salute the Queen. Maybe if you're in the military. Tiago is here. More comments below. Okay, well, get me to more comments below. I've unsubscribed to one channel this year due to the offensive nature toward their own subscribers. Pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, sure, you unsubscribe to like 1 or 2 channels every now and then. There was a time where I was like all about YouTube, where I was like, and I would pare down my list, and I was so into YouTube, and it was funny. Just yesterday, because I was having so much trouble getting my frickin' phone here to upload this stupid video, I was clicking around everything, and I saw this thing, and it's like comments, and it's like spam and problems, and I was starting to click on it. All these comments are on there, and then it said messages, and I realized people have been sending me messages via YouTube for like the last year that I've never even seen, and I feel like a complete asshole because I've never responded to them. And some of, I mean, I get sincere, legitimate questions. It's not just like, hey man, how do we get weed in Japan or something like that. I mean, I get really, heartfelt questions about wanting to come here and live and stuff. And I would totally have responded, but I just didn't know they were there. So as I have time, especially if I don't go home this summer, I promise I will go through that backlog and look at all those questions and try to get caught up on stuff. It's just crazy. One guy, luckily, I mean, I was just looking through all these comments, and he commented on a video from like 5 years ago that I made in Kobe with Busan Kevin and Kansai PJ, and I must have used some, Beatles song or Beach Boys song or some song in it that's now copyright, getting copyright, and so the whole video is silenced. It's a 7-minute video that I really edit. I mean, back in the day, I really edited. I used iMovie like a wizard, and now the video is just, there's no audio, and so he types in like all the comments are from like 5 years ago, and here's his one from like 8 days ago. Dude, there's no audio, man. What's up? And I'm like, ah. So I guess I have to delete that. I mean, what's the point of keeping it up on the site? You can't enjoy it. We're out walking around Kobe, and then I think we go to a bar, and but like, where is that video? Like, if I wanted to re-upload it, is there a point? It's like, what's sort of like the not termination, gestation? No, that's not the word. That's how long you're pregnant. Maturation? No. Come on, guys. English. What's the time that you're allowed? What's a good time that a video has done its thing, has had its purpose, has lived its life on YouTube? 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? I mean, obviously we haven't really gotten to 10 years yet, but yeah, the only problem I have with deleting it isn't so much that it's gone and whatever, is that it's part of like a series I made. Jason Goes to Kobe, and I'm sure I made like 7 videos, and it's probably like number 3 or something. And so it's like, if you were ever watching those videos, you're like, dude, where's number 3? What happened? So anyway, I sounded like a Brit instead of an Australian dude. Yeah, that happens a lot. If I hear the accent, like I said, like I was having lunch with a coworker the other day who's from Scotland, and at the end of the lunch, I could be Scottish. When I hear an accent and I get it in, what was I watching? Oh, I was listening to a Paul McCartney song. I love Paul McCartney. I love the Beatles. I think you guys know that. It's called Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey. It's a very strange song. It's a little bit of a day in the life pastiche, if you know Sgt. Pepper's, where they took the John song and the Paul song and they kind of mashed them together to make that one song. Well, this is a Paul version of that, a solo song I think he did with Wings in the mid-'70s, and it's like got 4 songs that are all just thrown together. And there's this one part where it's very like, Uncle Albert. Oh yeah, and he's talking, and I don't know if it's Paul doing the voice. It sounds like kind of like James Mason. You guys know an actor named James Mason? James Mason was like, "Hello, my name's James Mason," and there was this comedian that used to do this bit about James Mason as a member of the Three Stooges. Larry, Curly, come over here. I'm going to hit you very hard. And so in this song, he's like, hello, Uncle Albert. You haven't done a bloody thing all day. We're so sorry, Uncle Albert, but the kettle's on the boil, and we're so easily called away. And it's just this weird, weird song, but I love it every time it like comes up in my iPad or my iPod or something. And I just want to know if that was Paul doing that voice. All right, that's true. There are also prawns, not shrimps, in Australia. So, all right, I just got it wrong all the way around. Statute of limitations, no tobacco. That's not bad. I like statute of limitations. There's an English word I was looking for, and I just couldn't get that out of my brain. Uh, so anyway, what day is it? Did anybody say what's the actual day in Australia? Why you guys get to not go to work? Somebody leave a message and let me know. Um, lesson plans I need to write. I try hard to get that stuff done on Friday so I can have my weekend. So yesterday I went to the movies and I made a video, and it finally, on my fourth try, I think the audio has synced up. So probably right after this, while I'm watching Hiko's show, I will put that video up. So it'll go up in the next hour or so. Anyway, I was on the roof of the parking lot of the big shopping mall I was in where I was seeing the movie, and I'm just talking about life and showing you Gizmo from a very good vantage point. So in that video, I talk about the two movies I saw, so I'll refrain from talking a lot about them then. I saw Tomorrowland, which was so-so. George Clooney film. It just opened here. And what finally opened here, after, 8 months later than America, was Hunger Games Mockingjay. What's that, the third film in the series? The second to last, Mockingjay Part 1. And I took my friend Shiho, who's a former student and now is working. She graduated from college and she's working at the post office. And so she generally has Saturdays free. And she lives in Izumo again. And so she met me there, and she had not seen the first two movies. But she was fine. She was like, okay, fine. So, all right. Oh, it's the Queen's birthday. Okay. Is it the actual Queen's birthday? Like, that's really the day Queen Elizabeth was born, or is it just it's always the first Monday in June, type of holiday, kind of like President's Day in America, which is not really anybody's birthday, I think, or Martin Luther King Day. I don't know if it's theoretically his birthday. It is hard to write lesson plans while you're teaching, but you do it sometimes. Trust me. In the sense that all of a sudden you thought the lesson plan that was going to take you all 45 minutes of class has only taken you 30 minutes. So you now have to fill for 15 minutes, and you are basically on the fly writing a lesson plan. The other thing I got to keep me entertained this weekend is Orange is the New Black. I don't know if you guys are into this show. This is season 2. So this is Blu-ray. Yay, Blu-ray. And digital copy. I never do anything with the digital copy. Every now and then I'll give it away to a friend or something, but I don't. The whole reason I buy Blu-ray is I don't want to watch on this screen here in front of me that's 13 inches. I want to watch on my 50-inch television that's over there. So I'm still, I'm old, so I still buy media like this. But yeah, so I'm going to dig into this. I haven't watched any because soccer's been going on. I don't know if you're going to watch the Women's World Cup, but that's the big news. I'm going to tell you about some stories out of the paper today, the Japan news. But yeah, so the first match happened. Canada faced China in the opening match. The whole tournament is in Canada. Unfortunately, it's in Vancouver, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and some places on the East Coast. Maybe Montreal? I can't remember. Anyway, so there's way different time zones happening. And I know 2 of our games are in Vancouver. When I say we, I mean Japan, Nadeshiko, Japan. And one game is in Edmonton, which is an hour later. So it's like, then you have to figure out when will the game actually be on TV if it's live here in Japan. So our first game is Monday in Canada, but of course it's Tuesday morning here in Japan, and the kickoff is 11 a.m., which is reasonable. Now, normally I'd be at work, but on Tuesday I have a light schedule in the morning, so I will take an early lunch, come home, and not only will I take an early lunch that day, but I'll take a long lunch, an extra hour to watch the whole match, and I can kind of get away with that on a Tuesday. If it was a Monday or Wednesday, I couldn't, because I have way more classes. So that's lucky. And then the second match we play is Friday in Canada, but again, that's Saturday morning here in Japan. So that's an easy one. The hard one will be the third match we play is Wednesday the 17th. So that one I'll have to tape and watch when I get home from work that day and hopefully not hear who won. But anyway, so Canada, the Women's World Cup, of course, Japan is the defending champion. We won the whole thing back in 2011. It was very, they just showed, and I watched it, they just showed the final match. You know, they re-showed it on NHK last night between America and Japan where, you know, it went to 1-1, and then we went into overtime. America scored, we scored again, went to 2-2, then I went to penalty kicks, and we won on penalty kicks. Very emotional and just great struggle for the Japanese team. And I'm looking forward to them, you know, doing well again. I mean, they have an easy group. They're definitely going to get through. But some of the other teams, you know, Germany, Japan, America, Brazil, Sweden, they have some tough competition as they get further along. So that's all of June, really. The final is July 5th, which is July 6th in Japan, which is my birthday, which is a Monday. So again, I might have to see what I can do if Japan is in that final match. We'll have to see what we can finagle. All right, what else should we talk about? Let me talk about some of the things, since I didn't get any questions on Facebook. I really didn't ask for them like I did last week. You know, I didn't put a post up like, hey, send me your questions. But anytime you want to ask me a question that you feel is good for the show, go to the Facebook page and leave it, or even on Twitter, @TaishaJason. So here, I'll put it in the comments here. The same thing that I'm typing in as, and just add an @ symbol. And that's my main Twitter. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about these lawsuits that were happening, and I don't think Hiko covered this. This was about a month ago. These were making news, and I just thought it was ridiculous. And Japan is a weirdly litigious society. Like, being a lawyer is not a big deal here. That's not a prestigious job. You don't hear a lot of kids talk about wanting to be a lawyer. Bengoshi is how you say it in Japanese. There aren't a lot of like lawyer TV shows like in America. I mean, Jesus, you can't swing a cat and not hit a lawyer TV show. Yeah, it's weird. And if you're in an auto accident or you're in any kind of accident, whether you're a pedestrian on a bicycle, in the car, driving the car, there's a certain amount of shared blame that's just assumed. It's almost never 100% the other person's fault, even when it is. And it's a very strange concept for people not from Japan to adapt to. If you're bicycling along and a car turns the corner and hits you and you're completely in the crosswalk and the light's in your favor and there's people that saw it, you're still going to be like liable for like 10% of what the damage you did to the car or something. It's ridiculous. So two examples of that came up recently in the news, and you guys can tell me in the comments if Hiko talked about these too. One was a case where a child, I think he was a 6th grader, about 12 years old, so an elementary school kid, he's out after school playing soccer with his friends on the grounds of the school. And there's a goal post, right, where you kick into the goal, and behind that there's a somewhat high fence, about the same height as the goal. So what's that? Maybe 5 feet, 6 feet, you know, tall. And he kicks the ball high, and it goes over the goal and over the fence and lands in the street that runs sort of parallel to the fence behind the school. And on that street, at that moment, an old man, let's just say he was 85, I can't remember exactly how old he was, but he was over 80, was on a scooter, a genski, as we say here, a moped, and the ball did not hit him, but it bounced like in front of him, some amount in front of him. Oh, Starkey, I'll get to your question soon, but please leave it. Let me just finish my story. And it startled him. he was not like paying attention to what was going on in the periphery on the side with the kids playing soccer. He was just driving, and this ball bounces in front of him, and he skids, or he swerves to, avoid, I guess, what he thought would, be a sort of natural reaction maybe. And obviously he's an 85-year-old man, and he crashes. And as a result of the crash, he obviously has to go to a hospital. In the hospital, he gets pneumonia. The pneumonia, like 18 months later, kills him. Okay, or he develops complications and he dies, like literally a year and a half after this all happened. Okay. Bad luck, terrible, whatever. But the family of the old man sue the parents of the child for negligence because they didn't raise him properly and teach him that he shouldn't kick balls over fences at old people on scooters. This is like literally what they like got away with suing them for. And it's ridiculous. The father was on a TV show and just like, look, I am very sad about what happened, and my son is, now, he's now older and stuff. He's very upset. But if you're trying to tell me I'm a bad parent, you can go fuck yourself, is what he's basically saying in nice Japanese. And he said, accidents, things happen, blah, blah, blah. And he couldn't really go into everything he wanted to say because of obviously his lawyers were probably telling him not to. But it was ridiculous. It was just the most ridiculous thing, and they got away with suing. And I think the first judge sided with the family and awarded damages, and it was like 1,000,000 yen, which is I think 1,000,000 yen is $10,000. It wasn't a huge amount of money or something, but I can't remember. But it was insane. And at that same week or something, another case came up where a family has one of their older relatives. Let's just say it's their grandfather. I can't remember if it was. I think it was a man. I can't remember if it was grandfather, grandmother. I think it was the grandfather. Again, over 80, Alzheimer's, dementia, but they don't have him or her in a facility. They're taking care of her at home, or him. Let's just say him. So they're at home with him, and he gets out and starts to go for a walk. And he forgets where he is and everything, and he's stumbling around, and he walks in front of an oncoming train, and, it's obviously hit and killed. Terrible, right? But not really the train company's fault. He obviously ignored the warning signs and everything, etc., etc. So who do you think gets sued in this situation? The family of the man with dementia who got hit and killed gets sued by the train company because he damaged the train with his body, I guess, when it hit him, and they were not able to fulfill and be on time that day, and so they had bad customer relations or some shit like that, because they were delayed due to the obviously they have to stop the train, scrape off the body parts, and I don't even know what happens. I don't know how fast the train was going, and blah blah blah. But anyway. So the family of the man who walked in front of the train and got killed tragically because of his dementia, sued by the train company for damages to their vehicle and their reputation or whatever. I mean, just insane. And it just makes me go, oh my God, I know insane lawsuits happen in America too, but those just both made the news in the same week. And I just thought, man, Japan, you'd be crazy. You'd be crazy, Japan. Or as, okay, there's a very popular, do you guys know this? Are any of you in the comments now, the 22 people are watching who haven't thumbs up at all yet? Are any of you do any of you live in Japan? So let me know. I know a bunch of you don't because you already told me where you're from. There's a comedian going around who, unfortunately for me, But luckily for me, I don't still teach at Shogako or something. It'd be even worse. But his name is Jason something. He's an American or a Canadian. Somebody might know in the comments. Yeah, Ben, that's exactly. Your stupid dead relative made me 15 minutes late for work. Yeah, it was insane. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I needed to vent. Thank you for letting me vent about that. So his name is Jason something. He calls himself Jason Atsugi or something, like Jason the Hot or something. I can't remember what his Japanese stage name is, and he does this routine, and it's pretty funny. You can see it on YouTube if you search for it, and his catchphrase is "Why Japanese people? Why?" Atsuguri Jason. Yeah, there you go. So, and it's become it's the new catchphrase among kids. Like I go and I tutor these kids on Thursday nights, and one's in 3rd grade and one's in 4th grade, and now it's their favorite thing to say to me. But he basically says, okay, this is the kanji for rain, and this is the kanji for day, so why isn't the kanji for rainy day, and it's this really complicated kanji, and he draws it on the board, and he goes, why, Japanese people, why? And it's a funny bit, but obviously he's signed up with one of these companies that's just going to make him say that phrase now for like a year on end until it's just burnt itself out completely, and then he'll probably never be heard of again. But anyway, his name is Jason, so if you happen to be in Japan and be named Jason like I am, or coming to Japan this summer and your name is Jason, be prepared for people to make comments about him. Yeah, all the time. But it is a funny bit. I'd like to see him do 10 minutes of material to see if he can be funny in other ways. But like the 2-minute clips I've seen of it, it is funny, but it's very one note, so it shows no roundness of his ability. All right, so that was one thing I definitely wanted to talk about on here. Okay, so let me get back to this question that somebody left. And oh yay, people are in Huggers is in Nagoya, Fukushima Jack obviously in Fukushima. Kron, I'm from the state of Georgia. Eric Davis says he's from the state of Georgia. Well, hello, Eric. Kron is in Fukuoka. All right. So let me go back to this question. Here we go. From an interviewer's point of view, would you value an applicant's Japanese language ability more than their extracurriculum activities, like helping out my school with ESL students and coaching? Starkey, that's hard to say. As I've always said about JET, and I think it's true of Interac as well, you don't have to speak any Japanese to get the job, which is amazing, but it's true. You don't have to have studied it at all, know anything. But I think as they're looking for more and more teachers to go into elementary schools, as they're expanding the starting time of when they do lessons from 5th grade to 3rd grade, and elementary school teachers are not trained English teachers, so the more Japanese you know, the better you can converse and lesson plan with those teachers. I think they are looking for people who speak Japanese, and there are more and more applicants applying, especially in America at least, who do speak have studied it in high school and or college before they apply. So you will be, those people will be competing against you. But there are tons of jets that get hired every year who have 0 Japanese. So they need these other things that you're talking about. They need to have had, been a lifeguard, or been a Girl Scout leader, or been a after-school big brother, big sister, some kind of activity. It can also be, you tutored in the library people your own age at your school, or you've done anything where you've shown that you've been able to mentor, teach, tutor, help, coach, someone doing something. Those are good things to put on your application. The main thing I would say about Japanese at this point, because your interview panel is almost for sure going to be comprised of at least one native Japanese person and one former Jet, and then you sometimes a third person, but sometimes just two, or sometimes it's just a Japanese native and someone from a consulate. There is no former Jet in the room. But the one thing they can tell is if you're lying. Don't lie about how well you speak Japanese. Just be honest. I studied it for 1 year in college before I applied to JET. I knew the hiragana, the katakana, about 100 kanji, and the very basic aisatsu and grammars. And I put it on my application. They asked me a little bit, but we didn't have a conversation in Japanese. They didn't ask me to do a jiko shokai, nothing like that. And I just, in my my statement of purpose, I wrote how much I wanted to continue to learn Japanese while I was at JET, and et cetera, et cetera. So, I think you should just be honest. If you've studied it a little, say that you've studied it a little, that you can't really, speak it well yet or whatever, that you look forward to, being immersed, yada, yada, yada. Make it a positive thing. If you haven't studied it at all, just, say that. I mean, you have to then obviously have other reasons for wanting to go to Japan, because you haven't previously shown an interest, maybe. If you haven't studied Japanese before, or maybe you've studied it independently, or you just watched a lot of manga, or watched a lot of anime, read a lot of manga, and you picked it up or something, So anyway, all right, let's get back to where we are. I hope that answers your question. All right. Australian idioms, yes. Somebody from Yamagata, nice. Yeah, I mean, Andrea, that happens in Japan a lot too. If you have a difficult name, I had a friend from England who had I think it's a Welsh name. Her name was Angharad, and her last name was James, which is very easy. And she was a wonderful girl, like 21 when she came, and so she went by Anna, and she just got used to the kids calling her Anna, and the teachers too. I mean, they knew her name wasn't that, but or if you have a middle name, like my middle name is Christopher, I could have gone by Chris, which would be really easy. But see, I've never used that in my real life. If somebody calls me Chris, I wouldn't turn my head. My name is fine. Jason's easy. And fortunately, there are a few famous Jasons. Unfortunately, one is the guy with the hockey mask. But there's also Jason Statham and a few others. So it's not an unusual name for people to see written in katakana or to pronounce. But yeah, if you have or if you just have a name with an unfortunate association, I've gone over these before. Like if your name's Deborah, but everybody calls you in America, everybody calls you Deb. Well, Deb in Japan means chubby or fat, and it's not a nice name for a girl. So you would want to use a different name. Even Debbie or Deborah would be probably bad. You would probably just want to go with a nickname or a middle name. If your name is Ben, like Ben Duncan here in the crowd, I'm sure he knows Ben is another word for toilet or shit. So Benjo is, it's like kind of like an outhouse or a porta potty. So yeah, Ben is not a great name. There's others, and it's just like watching the Chinese women in the soccer today. One girl's last name was Gu, because they're Chinese, right? So her last name is Gu, and her first name starts with the letter Y, and so they, on the Chinese uniforms today at the World Cup, they had their last name and then parts of their first or second name, because a lot of Chinese people are named like Feng Shui, Yang or something. They kind of have three names or whatever. So her name was Gu, and then she had the initial Y. So on the back of her jersey, it just said Guy. And another one was Wu, W-U, and then for some reason they had her initials as H-Y. Maybe it was like Hang Yang Wu or something. But I just looked at it and went, why you high? It's just like, and some of them it's like, hey, instead of just an S for the initial, they had S-H. So this one girl was something was her last name, like Lee, Li. Yeah, that was it. It was Lee, and then her other two names are SHSH. So it's Lee. It's like shh. Like who? It's again. It's like they did not consult a native English speaker before they printed those jerseys or designed that concept. If they had, I'm sure they would have counseled them against that uh, that path. It's just not the right thing to do. All right, we don't have much time left. God, it just goes by so fast. I wanted to get to a story that's in the paper today, and has been is going to get talked about. Let me just find it real quick. I know this is fascinating television. Thank you for watching. I was going to talk about giving away the socks, but I think I'll wait until next week and try to remember to do it next week. Where is the story? Oh, everything is about Caitlyn Jenner. Even here, I could care less about Caitlyn Jenner. Sorry. So we won't be talking about that. Oh, there was an interesting thing about sumo, but I don't think there's that too many sumo fans in here. But it was about sumo money. So Teruno Fuji, who just got promoted to Ozeki, he was making 1,693,000 yen. I'm guessing that's a year as a sekewake, and now his salary has increased to 2,347,000 yen as an ozeki, about 650,000 yen as an increase. So 2.3 million yen is about, well, back in the day when it was more even, 100 yen to the dollar, that you could say that was about $23,000, which is not a lot of money. But this article is all about all the bonuses they get. And it's a weird bonus system. So he got about 418,000 yen in bonus for this past tournament, where he won, and he won the Yusho, etc. So that's about $4,000. He just got a $4,000 bonus for all the wins. They deduct how many wins from how many losses and give you a bonus, and then it's all multiplied by something. Hakuho, with all his multipliers and all the bonus that he's accumulated over his 14-year career, he got about $6.6 million of bonuses just for that one tournament. So that's $66,000, in addition to whatever salary he gets. So it was an interesting article. If you want to know more about that, leave a message on the Facebook page or even on this video, and I'll talk more about it next week. Okay, well, it wasn't in here. Maybe it was in yesterday's paper. Hold on. Meet My Melody. Yeah, sorry. Here it is. Middle school English test set for 2019. Okay, I'm getting a really quick comment here. Do you have a fan mail address, Jason? You mean you want to send me something physical, or you just want to send me a nice email? You can always use my email, myargonauts, MYARGONAUTS. Here, I'll type it. myargonauts@gmail.com, and send me anything, attachments, pictures of money. I guess you can't send me money. My tip jar is still open, though, if you really wanted to send me. I had somebody send me $2 the other day. He was like, buy yourself a Coke. So I was like, hey, cool. And then PayPal take their cut. I got about $1.80. Yeah, if you go to my, it's been, I'll put it right here, jasoninjapan.blogspot.com. Is it going to let me do that? Oh, yeah, it did. Okay. So go there, and then up in the corner there's a tip jar if you want to send something. You really enjoy the show, the channel, it's been helpful, whatever. I appreciate all that. If you want to send me something physical, like somebody responded to last week's episode where I talked about wanting to watch The Simpsons, and he's like, I'll send you the DVD. I've watched it. I don't need it anymore. So I'm like, cool. So I mean, we emailed each other privately, and I gave him my address, and I'm hoping he's not going to now publish that for everyone to know. I don't want everyone to know where I live. Don't send me Bitcoin, Ben. Ben's a troublemaker. Okay, middle school. Let's talk about this in the last 10 minutes we got. Middle school English test. National exams aims at better language skills. So what they want to do, basically, is the education ministry knows that the Olympics are coming. Everyone's eye is going to be on Japan. They want people to have better English skills. So there's about a million point one ninth graders around. Obviously, the fertility rate's dropping. We're getting less new kids every year. But they get tested before they go to high school. And English is not part of that test right now. They also test kids in some other earlier grade. I can't remember what it is. It might be 5th grade or 6th grade. Anyway, they basically did a survey, though, in last year's test where they asked a lot of these kids, and about 70,000 Sonense third-year junior high school kids responded to the survey, and they either had a little short passage that they had to read, or they asked them a question, or I don't know exactly how they assessed this. But, oh no, I'm sorry, these are third-year high school students about to graduate high school and go to college. They assess them. So after 6 years of mandatory English from first grade of junior high, second, third, and then 1, 2, 3 of high school, most of them were around a middle school level of being able to read and write and listen to English. Writing and speaking was nearly 90%. Who, even though they were seniors in high school, about to go off to college, their proficiency level was like a second-year middle school kid in being able to write English and speak English. So they want to come up with this new test, and basically that means good things. And this is the part that you guys who watch my channel will like to hear. In an effort to improve teaching methods, the ministry plans to hold seminars for English teachers at primary, middle, and high schools to foster leaders for the promotion of English education. This has mixed results. It really would be better if we could come up with a system where we could pay for teachers of English to have a year to go live in Australia or America or the UK and actually, be surrounded by English and yada, yada, yada. But that's another idea. It also intends to actively hire foreign nationals as assistant English teachers. So I think that means that JET is pretty secure. It's not going away. It's going to get funded. It's going to maybe even increase. Like I said, not only this test, so they might have more English lessons or more emphasis on speaking. And for years, JETs have said for English to really change in Japan, they have to add English to the national exams, and they have to add speaking to the test for it to really change the way the kids are able to actually communicate. Because if it's just, fill in the blanks or bubbles or on a Scantron, that really doesn't assess how well you can use a language. Because you can just study for the test, study the grammar, study the words, and that doesn't mean you can really actively use English. They do have tests here that kids can voluntarily take, like the ACAN, the STEP test, and some others like TOEFL and TOEIC that do test. But only some of those don't have speaking components either. Some of them do. So it just means basically, there was some talk about, whether JET was going to continue to get funding and yada yada. Was JETs have been going down, and I think that's going to kind of plateau, and it's going to start to go back up, to be honest. But of course, the number of new JETs that are coming might not actually go up that much because the number of JETs that are already here that are staying 2 or 3 years as opposed to going home after 1 or 2 I think that number is going up and has been for, say, the past 3 or 4 years because the economy is so bad in America, wherever their home country is, they don't want to go back. The jet salary is decent. Um, right now it doesn't sound that good because you do the conversion, and it's probably shitty as hell. Let me see what it is really quick. I haven't done this. This is going to be scary. The basic jet salary is 3.6 million yen a year. Sorry, I was about to say a month. About 30 mon a month. That's actually a little less now when you're very first year, and it goes up. Now there's actually a cost, an increase. So let's see with the current exchange rate. That is one. I'll count my zeros here. Yeah, see, that's only just shy of 29 grand a year now. I mean, you used to be able to say 3.6 million yen, $36,000 a year. That's not bad, money for a person right out of college. But now with the exchange rate, it's 28.5 grand, or 29 grand if you want to round up a little bit. Not so good. So it's possible, they might have less people apply, but I doubt it. I think the lure of Japan and getting to live here, etc. And again, if you're in your 20s, I still think that's a very decent salary. And most housing here is it's very affordable to live on the jet salary, especially if you're by yourself. But anyway, yeah, I think a lot of teachers would really benefit if they're in their 20s and they're becoming English teachers, to go over and live and really hear English. I mean, hear spoken English in natural speed, natural dot. Turn on the TV, everything's in English. I mean, there are so many English teachers here that are trained in English and have never left Japan or visited an English-speaking country, or if they did, they went for 2 weeks or something, and that'd be like me saying, "Oh yeah, I'm fluent in Japanese. I went there for 2 weeks when I was, a junior in college or something." I mean, it's just not possible. 65K, Starkey, but what's 65 what? Australian dollars? What's that? That's monopoly money. Come on, man. What's real money? No, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, so I've set up booths before and gone to colleges in Southern California. The year off I took between when I was a Jet and now teaching at the university, I recruited for Jet. And I went to UCSD, and I went to UC Irvine, and I went to UC Riverside, and I went to a bunch of UC campuses in San Diego State, and some CSU campuses, California State University of San Marcos, etc. And I set up a little booth, and I had information, and so many kids thought that JET was either an internship where you don't get paid, or it was like a study abroad program. Like they kept coming up to me and saying, "How much does it cost, to go do JET?" And I'm like, "No, you get paid. It's a job. You grad, a lot of them didn't realize that it's something that happens after you graduate. You have to have your degree first. It's not something you do in your junior year. So even I guess just getting that information out was worth me being there. But yeah, it was disappointing at some because I think I was wedged in with a lot of study abroad type programs, and it's just like that's not what JET is at all. Okay, well, I think that's going to wrap us up. It's 10:52 by my watch. We've got about 3 minutes or so before I get out of the way for Hiko to come along. 31 of you joined in this week. Thank you so much. This will go up on the channel, and yeah, let's talk next week about the socks. I think I figured out a way to give them away and make it kind of fun. Okay, so 50 grand in Starkey in American money. That is a very, very nice starting salary. That's, go to Australia and live then. I should go there, heck. I can almost do the accent. I'm trying to look around. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you guys about, and I can't remember. Okay. So Tokyo Tonight's coming up next. Yay, Hiko. Watch his 17 live shows he has on now. I stuck in for a little while with Kat last night. I was pretty tired. I had gone, it takes me about 2 hours to drive to the movies. I watched two movies. I had dinner with a friend, and I drove home. It was a long day, but it was a fun day. Next weekend, I'll be watching soccer, and then I got a really big project at work that I'm going to be working on. It's going to be a really heavy week. I hope I can still do the Sunday night show. Of course, if I can, I'll try to tweet out and Facebook and let you guys know. But I'm pretty sure I can be here and do it. Um, Anyway, thanks for tuning in, talking a little bit about what's going on in Japan, and go Nadeshiko. I hope they win their first few matches. Their first match is against Switzerland, the Swiss, the makers of the cheese with the hose. And their second match is against, I don't know, I forget. I think it's against Ecuador, maybe? I don't know. I should know. I'm trying to be a fan. And tune in next week. I haven't missed a week yet. So next Sunday, 10 p.m. Japan time. Peace. See you then. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Bye.